Hello, so here we're going to be looking at two different things entirely. First one, how to write code online, looking here at Trinket. Trinket.io is the website. I'm just making a little example here just for your amusement. So why wouldn't you like this when there's a whole world of entertainment out there and you've got this little function that's going to chop a word in half, chop a word in two, and then put a new string in the middle of it. So I'm using the length function to detect the middle of the original word, chop it into two equal parts, and then slice it with the new string in between and return it, and then use the function inside of the print. Trinket's good if you don't have Python installed on your machine. Why would that be? If you've got a Chromebook, I've got a Chromebook because it was cheap, and yeah. If you're ever a loose end and you're just on some random machine, if you have a tablet, whatever, just go to Trinket.io, go to Python, type the code on the screen and then click run, and as you can see, performs fantastically well. I use Python 3 all the time now, so I'm not sure if it uses any lower versions. Anyway, so that was Trinket. Virtual machines, I also use a virtual machine, a Ubuntu. I use Linux Mint and Ubuntu, both very good. I've got VM Workstation and I run the Ubuntu VM on that. About 7 gig of RAM I allocate to it, so yeah, it performs pretty well. Run it full screen as well, and just opening Notepad to type some notes. Notepad, whatever it's called. A bit of screen tear there. I'm struggling to get NVIDIA drivers to work with the Ubuntu VM, but that's another story. So, why would you use a VM? If you're on a Windows machine and you want to run Linux, yeah. Why not? Indeed. Why would you not want to? This is quite an old version of VM Workstation. I can't get the newest one to work on my PC because some issue with the processor or whatever, but to be honest with you, I really do not care. It works with VM Workstation 11 and that's good enough for me. Right, on my VM, my virtual machine, I'm now going to show you Virtualenv, virtual environment. That has nothing to do with a virtual machine, really, well, at all. It's a virtual instance of Python which runs with all of its own dependencies in whichever directory you create it and activate it from. I'll put the links up in a minute where you can read more about it, because it would be a long video if I tried to show you and demonstrate. What I am going to show you is it in action. I've already installed virtual environment. I ran sudo pip3 install virtualenv. I made a directory. Once I'd made that directory, I moved into it, cd, and then I went into the bin directory inside that, which then I ran source activate, but yeah, other websites will tell you that in much more detail. As you can see, from within the bin directory, I then ran source activate, and then I installed BS4, Beautiful Soup. So this will be a self-contained project with Beautiful Soup installed. So that version of Beautiful Soup won't be available outside of this virtual environment, which is good because you may or may not want to affect your main Python installation. So you can test different versions of Python. You can run a virtual environment of Python 3, 3.6, so on. So within this virtual environment, the way you can see the difference is from the command line. You'll see your directory before the @ symbol. This is the start of a Beautiful Soup project, so import Beautiful Soup, which is the Beautiful Soup installation, which is inside of the virtual environment. Import requests, so I've had to install both of those into the environment, but that's no problem. I'm setting up a variable called URL as usual for the site that we're going to scrape. This is just an introduction. I'm showing you more of the overview rather than actually any nitty-gritty of code. I've created a class. The class is going to create instances, obviously, and URL equals self.url. And once that's inside the object, I'm going to run some functions which fetch requests, pass using Beautiful Soup, and display will show it to the screen or gather it ready to put into a HTML file or whatever. So all of this is inside the virtual environment. It will not run outside of it in its current state. So a virtual environment is a self-contained instance of Python in its own directory, and to stop it you deactivate it. So source activate and then deactivate. And yeah, there we go. Just two little short snippets there for your viewing pleasure. I will be back next time. Don't forget to subscribe.
Well, thanks, Dr. Pi. That's quite interesting. I know a few CNC people probably don't like this, but, well, you know, got to learn a bit of Python, haven't you? Anyway, please subscribe. See you around, yeah? Bye!